The biggest question that I'm asked, actually one of the things that my subscribers and even other people who just drop by to ask a question, as the Gevo price has been going down, I've got so many negative comments, and in this video I'm gonna address all the risks and rewards of owning Gevo, and so let's dive straight into it. And so the first thing, the first red flag is that Gevo is a capital intensive business. Now, why is this important and what does it mean? Capital intensive means that a business processes an industry that requires a large amount of investment to produce a good or service. And this is the kicker, guys. Thus, have a high percentage of fixed assets such as property, plant, and equipment. And this shouldn't come as a surprise. I've made 10 videos and over about Gevo, and to be honest, this is a stock that we've been talking about so much. But just to remind you, Gevo has got one big plant being built at the moment. It's the first one in the big plan of producing green jet fuel, but basically the cost of this plant, this is what is really important, $700 to $800 million. That is for one plant. And capital intensiveness is by itself a red flag, but there is another red flag, which is that this cash needs to come from somewhere, and one way to raise cash is obviously stock dilution, which means to actually inject more shares into the float, meaning that we're gonna get diluted, and that is something that investors hate, and the price of a stock normally plunges when that happens. But dilution makes sense if you keep the business afloat and if you have revenues, and this is what we have on the screen right now. These are the revenues since 2011, I can see, and as you can see, it's not very high. This is another thing, another red flag that we have to look at. The revenues have been going up and down quite a lot, but the problem is that we haven't reached a decent amount. We're talking about just about, at the time of recording, 2 million, which is very low. But here is the kicker, guys. This is the important bit and why I'm still bullish on Gevo, and I'm actually still holding the stock. The company has been hit very hard by the pandemic, obviously, as you can see. This is 2020, and you see that the revenues have been going down quite steadily from the end of 2019 all the way down till basically where we are now. But soon we're gonna have a new earnings report, and there is a bit of news that came out quite recently, and that could actually make things much better for us investors. Gevo's Luverne facility restarts production's operations. Now, this is incredibly bullish, and to be honest, if you want to stay up to date on Gevo and this kind of analysis, well, this is the channel. I make videos like this one. But what's really good, and I'm gonna obviously cover this earnings report, but as you can see, finally this is one plant that Gevo has got good to go and able to produce, making some revenues that will make our earnings report a little bit more interesting, I must say. And that is why I'm still bullish on Gevo, but there is so much more that is actually quite obviously not great, and we're gonna go through that just now. For example, another red flag would be debt, because as I told you, Gevo is a capital intensive business, and that is another way to raise capital to produce obviously their products. And what they've been doing is a practice called off-balance sheet financing. This practice is basically where you have assets and liabilities in a way that prevents from appearing on the balance sheet. Now, as you can see, this is something that is actually approved by the regulators, but there are some drawbacks that obviously are mostly for us investors, and everything is explained here. Regulators are seeking to make off-balance sheet financing more transparent, and in fact it says that this is to help investors, although it is likely that companies will still find ways to dress up their balance sheets in the future. So this is more of a potential red flag, because at the time of recording we don't have reason to believe that Gevo is a company that is actually frauding us, that is actually hiding their debt. Is in fact something that we are totally aware of, and we know that they have quite a lot of that to build Net Zero 1, which is the main site that is actually happening, and they will be completed by the end of 2021. That is the target for this year. And when that plant will be completed, we are gonna get the good stuff, what us investors are really waiting for, and what has made us invest in Gevo. And this is the good stuff. This is, to me, the main advantage that Gevo has got: low carbon, bio-based, sustainable aviation fuel. Now, at the time of recording, there is no technology to make sure that even planes become electric. And although Elon Musk has been toying with the idea of building an electric plane, well, there is not much going on that side of things. And the world is moving towards electric vehicles. And as you can see, this is something that is been going on for quite a while. Since Biden was elected, he's basically promoting all electric vehicles, but everything that is green and pro-environment. This is one of the main events he's taken part of, and many of the laws that are coming through, and that can potentially lead Gevo being one of the biggest players in this sector. And for Gevo to become one of the main businesses benefiting from Joe Biden's laws, well, this is not a hunch. Look at this. Co-founder Francis Arnold for being named to President-elect Joe Biden's science team. So basically there is an inside man in the government that might make things so much better for Gevo. We'll see when the new laws come out and when the new incentives come out, but this is not even the biggest question that I'm asked. Actually, one of the things that my subscribers and even other people who just drop by to ask a question, they're asking me, when is Gevo becoming profitable? And to answer this question, we're gonna look at simply Wall Street, guys. I don't have a crystal ball for you to give your answers, guys. So basically, looking at this chart, it looks like we cannot even tell based on the near horizon when Gevo is gonna become profitable. The horizon gets to 2024. And the reason why nobody knows is because of the way the business is structured. These plants that are basically the main business for Gevo, and the fact that it is capital intensive, means that they have to have customers to finance these plants and to then make money out of it. But at the time of recording, there are not many customers asking to actually pay for these plants. And so where we are now at the time of recording, Gevo should be able to start the very first plant, Net Zero 1, by the end of 2021, and then they should be able to generate about 30 to 40 million profit from Net Zero 1. That on its own will not be enough to justify and to become profitable, because they will have to actually build Net Zero 2, Net Zero 3 and many other plants. So obviously all those costs needs to be paid by someone, and at the time of recording, Gevo hasn't disclosed of any customers, any partners who want to actually build Net Zero 2, but this is what I'm gonna keep you up to date in my next videos on Gevo. And if you want to know more news on Gevo, click on this video. It's a very good one. Click on it and I'll see you there.